Hello and welcome to a continuation of one of the best podcasts, if not the best podcast I've ever been a part of. I've really, really enjoyed that. And to kind of recap the podcast, we have some of the people that you saw on the last hour. Of course, most notably, and I'm sorry to my friends, Super Kev, Super Kev and Campbell's back in the house.
Magic Mike.
Thursday. Love that you've joined us. Appreciate it. Aston's eyes are just bugging out of his head all over again. And now that I'm on my channel, I can once again show the video that we want to show here. So let me see if I can find this. Where is it? Here we go. Joining us today is the one and only Kevin Campbell, fresh off of. This is also a gift for you, Aston, because I think Aston's a fan. One and only Kevin Campbell. Fresh off of so Aston's getting jaded now because now he's on podcasts with Lee Dixon and Rebecca Lowe and Kevin Campbell. Now he doesn't, it's old hat for him.
It's just I do this all the time now.
Yeah, man. Nice one, Aston. You do it.
That's amazing.
I absolutely love that. We're almost going to go full Hollywood Squares right here with Kev in the middle as he should be, but PG, thanks for making the jump over. Soph, welcome back to the Gooners Pod again.
Good to be here.
And then, of course, we've got MK and Taylor from LA and the lovely Tiffany Campbell from New Orleans. And so we've got just about everybody here, I think. And, man, what a pod. I mean, I obviously, I wish that we could have made the second hour another hour with Rebecca and Lee, but time.
She's already told me she'll come back. She'll do more time, and
Brilliant.
She loved everyone. She loves everyone. I mean, she knows a lot of you already and interacts with a lot of you, and she just loves the US crowd. And yeah, she'll come back, and the next time we'll host it on the Gooners Pod for sure.
Flattery obviously helps because I mean
it's the bow tie. It's your bow tie, not
Mike.
I wasn't talking about flattery for me. I'm saying I don't think there could have been more flattering words said about her, and she deserved every single one of them. I mean, like I'm glad that I got my bit out, but I was really happy to hear what Lee had to say. I mean, that was outstanding because when it comes from a professional, when it comes from somebody that, perhaps at the beginning of the NBC coverage, Rebecca, not that she was inexperienced, not that this was her first job, but Lee Dixon was the football legend doing commentary that she kind of kicks the coverage over to at game time. And to hear, the praise that, and if for some reason you're here but you weren't on the Highbury Squad for the first hour, you got to go back and watch it because the words that Lee had for Rebecca were incredibly kind, incredibly true, and incredibly genuine. So.
And then the banter between Super Kev and Dicko at the end there. Amanda asking about the dressing room question too. That was fun. That was fun to kind of hear them go back and forth about that as well.
Yeah.
This is the truth now. I used to have to try and get Lee Dixon on the dance floor. And believe
he said he couldn't dance.
He couldn't dance, but I used to have to try. I usused to have to try to get him on the dance floor.
I love how Amanda tried to describe the reason that he was no good at dancing as being Northern.
No. You missed. No. Right, because Northerners are known to have drink, pints of lager. Us Southerners, we just get out and party. It's a thing that they all go to the bar. It's not that it was a joke. Nothing to do with dancing or anything.
No,
his dancing was a joke. His dancing was a joke until we got him on the dance floor, showed him how to do it. And you know what? There was one dance-off at one stage between him and Theo Foley. Could you imagine? That was absolutely. Theo said, "I'll take you on, Lee," and there was a dance-off between it. But
was it simultaneous, or was it done like a rap battle where one person does
like a rap battle? Theo was giving all that. Come on, then.
I've danced with Theo Foley, and he can dance. I can tell you.
Rocky taught him mostly everything.
I can imagine.
So now you have to tell us.
Very
upset
that this was in the days before social media.
Very upset. It's so upsetting. I haven't got all that footage, honestly.
So who were the dancers of the squad? Who were the best dancers?
Well, it was
After you.
all the brothers. It was all the brothers, really.
Brothers.
Yeah, no, it's the truth.
The non-Northerners is what I'm getting at.
No, because we're all into our music. Do you know what I mean? We're all into the street culture, etc. But the lads will be at the bar having a drink, and if a song come on, they'll sing, but very rarely they'll get on the dance floor. And then Theo broke the mold. Theo said, listen, I want to be able to move like you guys. Rocky took him under the wing. So I said, I need my own. So I had to get Dicko on, you know what I mean? Try and get Dicko or whatever.
Am I remembering this? Am I remembering this wrong? But is there not a scene in '89, the film, after they get back from Anfield and they're all you guys are all going to the club late at night? Is there not a scene that has like a half-second clip of Alan Smith dancing?
Yeah, I think there is.
I think there is. Yeah, I think there is. Smudge.
I think that probably proves your point. I mean, I love Alan Smith, but that wasn't like the most.
Smudge is no dancer. Yeah, Smudge is no dancer.
I like how the secret of our success was Kevin Campbell teaching everybody how to dance.
You know, I've never been in a professional team sport, Kev, but I would imagine, you know, there are little kind of chemistry-based things that can make a lot of difference where it matters. So
hey, let me tell you, a lot of people have heard about the Tuesday Club, the legendary Tuesday Club, okay? Yep. And you got to remember, for years, I wasn't allowed in.
Oh.
So I could train with the boys, but I was a youth team player. I was too young. I wasn't part of it, and I was desperate to get in. Let me tell you, I remember.
Maybe that saved your career that you didn't get in.
I remember qualifying to go. So it was a Monday. They said tomorrow, Kev, you're training with the first team and you're with us. So be dressed to go out. So you can imagine I'm dressed to the nines.
It's like the promotion playoffs where like
exactly.
people have to compete to get into the Tuesday Club.
And you know what, everyone? It's so difficult to get promoted to that first team squad at Arsenal because look at the players that were there. You have to be good to get there. So to even be part of that squad to go out with them for a beer was major. So when we did get out and it come to a chance on the dance floor, I was going to take it, Mike. You know, I was going to take it.
I got to say, that, not to get too serious, but I got to say that probably is the issue with Guendouzi. Like I think he just entered the Tuesday Club from the beginning and felt like he didn't have to qualify. And I think that probably went to his head a little bit.
Yeah, the hierarchy. You got to play the hierarchy. You can't just go from bottom to top straight away. No.
Everything should be handled through dance-off.
Well, I was going to say, it's really funny because, you know, I mean, like, we know everybody's like, you know, heights and weights and stats and whatever. But when I was walking through the players' entrance at the Emirates and I walked past Ian Wright, the only thing I thought was, I bet he could break dance.
You can picture him like with his arm on the ground spinning around like that.
Right.
I'm not that tall and he was shorter than me.
He was brilliant. He was brilliant. Yeah, he's brilliant.
Is there anything that man can't do better than just about anybody else?
No, he was brilliant, honestly.
But you know what? We had a documentary over here of Ian Wright in the last couple of weeks. I don't know if it's been seen in the US. And it was so touching and heartbreaking. It was a lot about domestic violence and everything he grew up with, but he explained why he was so angry on the pitch. And I saw Wrighty outside the stadium one day. There wasn't many people around, and he was angry. Not when I spoke to him, but when he went off, someone said something to him, and I'll never forget this. He went mad. He literally lost it. And I thought he's got so much anger and just never thought anything of it. This documentary he did in the last couple of weeks has explained everything. And he said, didn't he, Kev, that he brought it out on the pitch? He said there were so many times he was so angry that's how he got his
That was his energy, He put the anger, used the anger as fuel.
Yeah. Probably made him the striker he was, to be honest.
Yeah.
When an athlete has a chip on their shoulder, or some type of they're carrying a baggage. Tom Brady had a chip on his shoulder because he was drafted 6th, and you know a lot of people, lots of people carry that with them and makes them even greater. It's crazy.
I'll never forget
Zamir, yes. George
I have to hear that.
Did it? Yeah.
There's got to be a story.
George Graham did dance, But listen, George Graham he's a smooth operator, George Graham. You know what I mean? He was a smooth operator, but that was only obviously he wasn't part of the Tuesday club, but at the club dues, because obviously when you're successful, you do have club dues. He used to get up and he used to dance with the wives and, try and get information about the players. He was stealing that show.
He's doing what 5D chess? Everyone else is doing
some folks you just don't. I don't want to see Pep Guardiola dance. That's not and even when Tom Brady was dancing in Brazil with Gisele Bündchen, it's like things I don't want to see that. You know what I mean? Just
I would have Mourinho dancing just to get a good gift out of it. No
matter how much you love Arsene Wenger, you don't want to see him lying in the sand, looking all sultry, like that one picture of him.
Speak for yourself.
He's quite the silver fox. I don't know.
You angered.
Okay, so maybe it's just me. I prefer him standing up than in the prone position.
I'd rather see Mourinho dance than Wenger, I think, because Wenger feels like dad. Do you know what I mean? So
exactly. Yeah. Well, the one time I met Arsene Wenger was in San Jose when they came for the tournament for the 2016 tour, and I was sitting, Tiff. I was sitting in like a McCormick and Schmick's with John Pappas. It was the first time I'd ever met JP.
Oh my God.
He points out the window. I'm talking about how, I'm trying to play it cool. We're going to, just having a good time. He points out the window and says, there's Arsene walking down the street. And I bolt out of there. I start running after him. And this is the summer where it's like, Riyad Mahrez is being rumored to come to us. We know we need improvements. Like, we just signed Granit Xhaka. Okay.
Oh, you mean like every summer?
Well, I tweeted a picture of us together, like a selfie, and everyone's like, "Did you ask him when Mahrez is coming? Did you say this? Did you do?" And I'm like, "No," because by the time I got the picture, like all I could think of to say was "thank you." Yeah, it was 2016, so things had been kind of on the decline for a little while, but that personal meeting, the only thing that I could think of or wanted to say, and that I thought was appropriate.
Do you microwave water?
Well, yeah, I hadn't come up with that question yet. I was like, "What's a kettle?"
It's the most bizarrest thing that you microwave water.
But what I should have asked him is why
we kettles.
Why are you lying down on the sand?
Mike, can I just jump?
I asked him to.
Daniel Robert, we asked Kev this question a while ago, and he's like, "Never, ever, ever will I ever go on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here or dance."
I thought it was this question. he wants to see the bird
for Kev. Come on.
Kev would never do it.
This question because Daniel just wants to see the Bird Leno post.
Hey, listen, he's played a bit like them at times this season.
Where's the big bird?
I think he's a good keeper. I do think he's a good keeper, but I think there's better keepers. And if you're at a club like Arsenal, I think that is a key position. That is such a key position that you have to get that one right. When you get that one right, I think the back four is a lot better.
You're Oblak in, aren't you?
Listen, I'd love to have Oblak. But it'd probably be a bit too much. But
who's the guy that you're looking at then? If not Leno.
Who's looking at?
What do you think of the guy from Ajax? Is that an option, Aston?
There's a guy at Villa also. Speaking of Aston, there's a guy at Villa that's pretty good.
The goalkeepers, Kev. Who can
Kevin, where's your checkbook?
Yeah.
I like Leno.
Onana. There's Onana. There's Oblak. Look, I just think world-class goalkeeper. When we've had world-class goalkeepers, you see the team has done well. When you've had goalkeepers who actually cost you in games, Arsenal fall away.
Kev.
And he's cost. So one thing you cannot deny, PG, he has cost us in certain games.
Seaman was a world-class.
Hold on. To lose games. To lose. This is the key. To lose games, and I mean howling mistakes.
Okay, but Kev, you said world-class keepers, yeah? The team play better. Seaman had the best front four in front of him. Leno hasn't got that. So you can't say that. I'm sorry. Seaman might not have been as good without Adams, Bowl, Dixon, Winterburn. then if Leno had that, he may have been like that.
PG, but here's the problem. As Lee Dixon said on the previous hour, you've got to do your job. Forget about who's in front of you. As a goalkeeper, hold on, are you going to let me speak? No tutting. He's got to do his job. If he does his job and the back four leave him exposed, there's nothing you could say. I wouldn't say anything. But he's done howling mistakes. He's also saved us. But it is his job.
And a world-class keeper might have not as well. That's my point. That's all I'm saying. With that defense.
Amanda, can we get back to cavelling about Rebecca and
no one's going to know what cavelling means, darling.
That's why I directed the question to you.
Do you, Taylor?
My mom is Jewish.
Oh, good. You know what cavelling means.
Did
I know
anyone?
what cavelling means, but my mic is Jewish.
Your what is Jewish?
My mic.
Did any of you have any questions that you weren't able to get out? Not that we'll be able to get the answer.
What are we cavelling over?
Over how great it was to talk to Rebecca.
Previous
and
hour.
how incredible she is.
The previous show we cavell over, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So did anyone, I mean, obviously we had very limited time. I wish we could have, done 2 hours where you all had, 25, 30 minutes to be on with him. But was there any unanswered questions that you had? Not that we can provide them, but just curious as to what you would have asked them if you had the chance.
Kev's still here, so he can answer.
Well, I actually had a question for Kev that I've always wanted to ask him.
This is probably the best chance that you'll have.
So obviously, you kind of said it earlier. We're kind of the brothers. One of the biggest things for me was seeing that. Did I cut out?
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. One of the biggest things for me was seeing that my club had legends that looked like me. Did you guys feel any of that weight while you guys were playing? And did you guys know that? Because honestly, I can't find all of our representatives have always been, you guys are so good in the media. And it's are you guys always aware of it or?
Yeah, I think for me, I can only speak for myself.
Mm-hmm.
When I first joined Arsenal, the first time I went to Arsenal, you go as a schoolboy, and you go into this professional environment, and your coach Vic Akers is one of the coaches, and Pat Rice is the other coach. Someone who I looked up to, lifted the FA Cup, captained Arsenal, and I get into the space, and there's boys from South London, East London, West London that look like me. There's white lads. There's a great mixture, and everybody's treated the same. Okay,
the Arsenal way.
The Arsenal way, and then you start to make your way through the club, and then the Paul Davises are making the first team. Yeah, Chris White's making the first team. Raphael Mead at the time is making the first team, and then you've got. I went to the same school. Michael Thomas, 3 years older than me. Mm-hmm. Used to go and watch Michael Thomas. Then obviously he signs as an apprentice, and then he's starting to do well. And then I'm the next one coming from South London. You understand what I mean? So yeah. I've already got brothers, Met Rocky, Paul Davies, Gus Caesar. Paul Davies is a bit older than them. Chris White and all those guys are a bit older. So I've got brothers who I could lean on to help. But the way we all came through kind of at the same time and shared the dressing room was massive, because not only are obviously we're a brotherhood, we connected with all the team, because it wasn't a matter of black or white. It was a matter of, this is Arsenal. But we're still connected to the streets. We've still got our friends, from the street who come to the games, who connect with everybody. And the great thing, the boys from the streets connected with Tony Adams and connected with Perry Groves and connected with Lee Dixon. And it was just one big happy family. And that's what Highbury brought to the table. It was such a great connection. So it was part and parcel of being Arsenal.
And is that part of the just built-in DNA? Because I've always felt, as well as being in this fan group, that no one's ever cared. And I don't feel that way among some other fan groups. I don't want to name names. So is it just the Arsenal way? Is that just how we always have been?
Yeah. I mean, when you think about when I was a youngster, when I came, I went to Arsenal the first time in 1977. There was a lot of racism and all that going on. I got to Highbury with my friends from Brixton, and I saw black, white, everyone just mingling. No racism, no nothing. I was like, whoa. We're going back to South London, and we've got to watch ourselves because there's all sorts going on down there from the police, etc. But you get to Arsenal and you feel comfortable. You know what I mean? You felt special. So that's why this is the club for us, even more so as a kid growing up and to get there. So it was, and you know what? Tottenham got relegated that day as well.
What a day.
Can I ask a question?
So good.
Can I ask all the questions to all the American lot? It's so fascinating to me that growing up, because I went in the 70s. I know I don't look older than Kev, but I am actually 6 months older than Kev. To all the Aston, I don't know you, Aston, never met you. Taylor and MK have been on the show, and I've met Tiff quite a few times. So, Aston, how did it come that you supported Arsenal, a Premier League club based in north of London, yet you're born in LA? Because to be fair, I don't like American football. For a start, I don't really understand it. Not really into baseball. I only follow a certain team because someone told me to. So American sports isn't in my DNA. But I so enrich all the American fans and actually all the global fans, not just American, that interact with me on Twitter or Facebook or wherever it is. And I love it because I've gone to Highbury since the 70s and the Emirates. I used to go to football and moan sometimes, oh, it's a bit cold. I don't want to go today. Where you lot you would just run to it. It would. And I think that Mike and I are really, really close friends. Since Mike and I have become friends and he comes over every year. Yeah, a little few close friends. Since he comes over every year, I can see the excitement. And now I'm excited because I think, oh, my God, I took all this for granted. You know, I can go whenever I want. I used to go away games. Some days I'd be going, oh, I can't be bothered to go. I'm tired today. But I don't feel like that anymore. I appreciate it much more. So, Aston, how did you get into it? I'd just like to know.
Well, it's actually interesting because for all the same reasons that you probably have, I've always hated American sports. I've never found them interesting. My girlfriend calls me a really passionate guy, and I could never find passion in those things. And my friend had always grown up playing soccer. His favorite team was Arsenal as well. A huge shout out to him. But what happened was because he was a fan of Arsenal, I tried to pick another team. And it was funny because when I bring up the passion, because the more and more I watch the sport, the more I fell in love with the artistry that is football. And you can't fall in love with the artistry of football and not fall in love with Arsenal. I tried to be a Chelsea fan. I tried to be
Aston, what year was that when you say
this is 2009, 2010.
Wow, you fell in love with us then.
yeah. Well, what happened initially was I was in. Listen, I know we may not have been as successful, but watching Fabregas play, come on, guys, it's beautiful. Yeah. It's something that you fall in love with. Quality. And then watching Wenger, honestly, peak Wenger ball was around that time as well. Yeah. And when we had a lot of the young kids coming in. And so it's just the way that we played. It's just the refusal to play in a way that is below our standard, in a way that might eke out a win, but we were going to play the way that we were going to play, and we were going to win beautifully no matter what. The ethos of Arsene Wenger, I mean, I honestly looked up to Wenger like a dad figure. And just that ethos of we do things the right way. We don't slag our players off in the media. We don't. He would stand in front of the club, and then to see that translate onto the field as beautiful football. That's why I fell in love with the team. And I don't know how you could honestly, if as a fan of football, fall in love with any other team. To be honest.
But it's just so amazing. To be fair, though, I did fall in love with a bit of basketball when I watched the documentary on Michael.
Yeah, basketball's fun.
Yeah. We watched it on Netflix over here, and I've never been into basketball. Obviously, I'd heard of him. I just didn't really know much. But when I finished that documentary, I was like, wow. And now I can name some of the players, and I just got really into it. But American football, I've tried I've tried, and I
It's
just
hard.
can't
It is
stand
so hard
it.
because it's like a
It's
4-hour game.
boring.
You have
It's
to
so
have
commercialized.
It's a commercial.
Mm.
Hey,
Stop
try
every 5
basketball.
seconds and
Try hockey. Have you guys watched hockey?
I used to play hockey as a teenager for the county where I lived. I love hockey. I probably could get into that game, but
Hockey's
so
my number
interesting.
2. I could never play it, but it is so fun to
Oh, I
watch,
love it.
especially in
Yeah.
person. And it's.
Are you talking
playoffs
about
right now,
ice
so I'm-
hockey?
Ice
Normal?
hockey,
Oh no,
absolutely,
we
yeah.
play on-field hockey. Okay.
No,
Never done
and
ice
see, like
hockey.
you were saying, like I don't understand. If you put cricket in front of me, I have
it's
no
so
clue what they're doing.
boring.
I don't even know how. Like I don't know
I like
what the point
cricket.
of it is. I don't
I-
understand it.
You know what I like
watch
about cricket
baseball.
is that they don't have it here, and you have to actually learn it. And like it's just so uniquely. I would say it's uniquely English, but it's not, because I mean it's Commonwealth, I suppose, is the better way of putting it.
It's that sort of
But you know,
It's one of the fastest growing sports in the world right now,
it's
Chris.
It's hard to me. I don't understand polo either.
and I'm angry
all.
because I lived like walking distance from Lord's cricket
Lord's,
ground and
yeah.
never
Yeah,
went.
well,
And so I've got that's on my list of things to do. I got to try to find when cricket is at the same time as football. Speaking of summer, where there's not normally
Kev,
football.
did you ever play anything else?
Sorry to interrupt, guys. I have to dip off. I have to go to work.
oh, bye,
Hey,
Taylor.
Taylor.
I just wanted to say something really quickly before I leave to answer PG's question. So I fell in love with Arsenal a little bit later, I think, than Aston. And one of the things that I don't think I hear a lot is that Arsenal found me. I didn't find Arsenal. And I think there's a lot to say about that. Like every single person on this screen, I deeply love and cherish as a friend. People like Kevin that make this community so interactive and engaging. Thank you all. You're amazing.
Oh,
Hi,
love
Taylor.
you.
Love you.
Love you, Taylor.
Taylor,
you, man.
thank you very much, top man. Take
Bye.
care.
Bye, Taylor.
That was sweet.
And then there were
Love Taylor.
7.
Oh, maybe
Love
like
Taylor.
well up.
Love
So
Taylor.
I-
I love
You're
all
brilliant.
the
Very
Arsenal
sweet.
groups. I mean, you guys are amazing.
Yeah,
Well,
but
it-
honestly, when I say to the people that I know about American supporters, they look at me and I go, listen, they're more passionate and love our club and know more about our club than half the people I know. And I think it's brilliant, honestly.
Well, and
the fact that
as-
we're global is fantastic.
As great as the pub culture is, when you go to London and you go to any of the pubs that are around, you know, N5, N7,
It's a dream.
you know, it's fantastic. But by the same token, you know, the supporters clubs here in the U.S., the communities and the relationships that you make at those pubs, and then when it's possible, and it's been a long time, and we're aching and we can't wait, but when it's possible to have everybody join together for an event like Gooner Gra, which Tiffany helps to put together, or other regional or national get-togethers that may be, you know, in existence, it is the most fun. I mean, people talk about why would you spend all this money traveling across the country to go to a game against Fiorentina that doesn't matter. Well, you saw what it mattered to Jessica when she was in Charlotte watching Arsenal come out to warm up against Fiorentina, and B, it's less about those 90 minutes than it is about the 4.5 hours before and after, the day before and after. Those are some of the funnest times I've had in my life.
Yeah.
And,
You know, but Mike, when
you guys got to come over and sample some of that.
Yeah,
Kev
I'd love to.
and Amanda.
February.
February.
it's just, I'd love to. I would love to.
It's
if I
happening.
could just add though, what you're saying, Mike, like the fan group and the community and the support. I mean, this is what I meant when I said, like, I legitimately, on one of the scariest days of my life, which was those George Floyd protests, I didn't know what was going on. There's a reason I put on the jersey, and it's because, like, everywhere I go, if there are Arsenal fans, I'm accepted. And we all take care of each other, and it's really, really unique, I think, to this fan group, and I really, really can't say I love it so much. And Kev, even being on this podcast, is a huge part of that as well.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you have a built-in thing in common, and if you're lucky enough, I mean, there's a guy who you guys know very well named Steve Manios.
From
Our ambassador.
He lived in LA. He now lives in just in the kind of suburbs of Sarasota, Florida. When we were down in Sarasota, Florida, the same trip that Aston came down and met me for, Steve picked us up from the airport. We went out to dinner on Siesta Key. We spent time together. We took selfies and had some beers and had a great time. And then last night I get a picture from two of my friends from San Antonio, David and Laurie Ziegler. David's, I think, in the chat as well. And they're having dinner with him in San Antonio. It's like the dude just gets around. I mean, but the point is, the first thing I do if I find out I have to go to a city, and I don't do a lot of travel, but the first thing I do is check out the local Arsenal community that's there, check out the schedule to see if there's going to be a game, figure out who I can meet up with, and then just be prepared to like meet more family members that you haven't met yet and some that you are reuniting with. And it's exceptional because, you know, I'm not a person, I know it may not come across this way, I'm not a person that like makes new friends that easily, and I don't like small talk. And if I'm in a place where I don't know anybody, I tend to keep to myself, with the exception of when
such a liar.
I'm not. I swear to God, that's not my personality. But when it comes to Arsenal, when you already have that built-in bond in common, it is the easiest thing that just comes naturally.
Hey Mike, was that connection the one when you was at Everton? And you surprised me when I was on stage, was it?
It was, you know,
it still the Arsenal connection?
It was the Arsenal connection.
The Arsenal connection.
I wanted to give you a little bit of home cooking while you were in the foreign land where they love you so much.
I got it all right, God.
You don't have to just be at football, because when I go abroad anywhere, and I'm not talking America, like Spain, anywhere, Italy, Cyprus, wherever I go,
they all have clubs.
I always have something Arsenal. It breaks the ice with other people. Most people in England and around the world are into soccer, football, aren't they? So you meet such interesting people. I've got many friends that are not Arsenal fans, that are just City, United, Liverpool, Everton, whatever it is. But you have one common bond, the love of the game. So where Aston's saying that when he wears his shirt, he feels part of a community. We're all one community. That's what happened when the European Super League came in. It didn't matter who you supported. We all felt the same. We all protested. We all came together. Every fan group came together. Didn't matter who you support. Even Tottenham fans. We did a show with loads of different supporters on. We had a Tottenham fan on, and he was loved by our fans because he loved the game as much as we did. It doesn't matter who you support. You are part of that. But when it then goes in closer, when you're an Arsenal fan or a fan of one club, there is just this common bond. You know, I can be. I went in my new job now. My manager is Arsenal. The minute we spoke, we just speak about Arsenal. You just know. Yeah, you have that conversation. You talk about Van Persie. You talk about Thierry Henry. But other people don't get it. If they're not into football, and most of my girlfriends are not into football, I don't talk to them about it at all, one bit. There is just no point.
Yeah, this is a perfect example.
Yeah, I realized that I didn't even know there was an Arsenal America community, and I've been a fan since 1999. But when I moved to Los Angeles from New York, one of the things I did is I wonder if there's like an Arsenal group that I could join. And eventually, you know, we kind of split off between groups. But one of the reasons I remained involved in leadership is because of the importance of maybe going to a new city and being new in town. And some of my first friends were people in Arsenal, Los Angeles. And, you know, Taylor is one of my oldest friends in the city. And I think that's really powerful too. You know, I never would have thought of it, you know, just living in New York City, because I just watched with other friends that liked the sport. They weren't necessarily Arsenal fans, but it's been transformative in the way that I enjoy the game, and then meeting fans from all over the country as well. It's just been incredible.
Yeah. So. Lone Star Londoner has a great point. Get to Austin, Texas. We'll show you passion at the local Arsenal pub, the Tavern. It's a perfect example because 18 months ago, I had a business trip to Austin, and I looked it all up, and my flight basically got in about the 30th minute of the game against Aston Villa, the one where we were down 2-0 and came back to win 3-2. And so I got there at halftime, met up with about 2 people I knew and about 30,000 people I didn't, and had a great time there. Enjoyed the comeback. I played hooky from my work meeting a couple days later. We had like a League Cup game or a Europa League game or something like that. But Austin's a great city. There's just so many of them. and and they're all great because of Tiffany. I just decided to throw that on you. So, Soph, I believe Soph's got a run. Are we?
I do. I've got
a
conference call in about 10 minutes. And I need to.
And a puppy who needs you.
Right, and a puppy. But I just wanted to say thank you to you guys. Today's show, Super Kev, you're always incredible. I mean, I think we've said it so many times. How you connect with the fans is amazing. To bring you and Rebecca and Lee together, just brilliant. Mike, it's been fun working on this show with you. You've been absolutely amazing. Your vibe is so positive. You know how to, have fun when doing these pods and stuff. And I've already gotten loads of notes from Rebecca saying how grateful she was just being part of it. And we're like, we're grateful to you. And we're grateful to Kevin for his time and to Lee as well. And every single one of you, I know that you're in between your workday here in the United States as well. And I just love you guys. You know how I feel about all of you. So thank you so much for making time for us again. There's going to be a part 2 for sure. And the collaboration between the Highbury Squad and the Gooners pod was just fabulous. So grateful to everyone in chat as well. All the squaddies, all the poddies or Goonies, whatever you're calling them, Mike.
You know what I want to call them, but we'll go with Goonies.
We'll go that.
It's like Hannibal said in the A-Team. I love it when a plan comes together, and today certainly was that.
It was
plan,
great.
So.
It was great. We'll be back tomorrow night with Kevin Says. Remember, he's going to break the neck. He'll be ready for you guys in chat. So be prepped for that 8:00 tomorrow night on the Highbury Squad. And thanks to everybody. Have an epic weekend.
Take care, Soph.
Nice one,
Love you
Soph.
guys.
Bye.
Much love.
Bye.
And obviously, Kev, if we know it's late night for you.
I've got to record myself, so.
And you've got to be up at 2:30 in the morning to wish everybody a happy Friday. So
you know the script. You know the script, Magic.
It's
You know the
Friday
script.
at 3:00 in the morning.
it's my Dickie Bow brother.
If you ever have insomnia, you can chat with Kevin on Twitter. If you have insomnia, because he's up.
Yep.
He's up and running.
Tiff, I've often woken up in the night, spoken to him, gone back to sleep again, and then I wake up and he's still there. He's just like bizarre.
Well,
I've got to go as well.
Listen, one thing I will say is I am into American sport. And
You are.
Really?
Yeah,
big
he
time.
is.
Big time. And the NFL and basketball mostly is my thing. And when I was
What's your team?
My team in the NFL was I thought New England was England's team. I heard about New England in 78. Right?
And don't forget that.
And I thought that was England's team. So I'm an 8-year-old kid. I don't know anything about it. So I heard New England. I said, I support them. But they were crap there. They were rubbish.
Oh, yeah, they were.
I still said they're my team. I stick to it. I stick to them. And then obviously over time they got better. And basketball, not so much one team. I used to like, obviously Michael Jordan was the guy. But I used to follow I was like how our fans are with football now. A lot of them follow the players. I follow the players. I like the players who make a difference. I like the dream teams and all that kind of thing. I loved it. I just think it's such a great sport, and I follow it. So that's a lot of the time why I'm up is because I'm watching. Like last night through the night, I was up watching the Lakers.
That Lakers game was great.
It's brilliant. Steph Curry was incredible.
Yeah,
You learned something new.
Incredible.
I didn't realize that was why you were up. I thought it was just how you were wired,
funny.
that you don't need sleep.
No.
Do you sleep standing up?
No, I'm up.
Does it close his eyes?
I'm up, but it just makes it nicer when you got something to watch, as opposed to watching Netflix or
That's how we are in the morning on
doing
Saturdays and Sundays.
Here's a thought, though,
we wake
Kev.
up
Why
and
not
there's football.
Just sleep in the night.
but I do.
Good idea.
Too much to do.
Idea.
Too much to do.
No, but I do sleep.
For about 3 hours.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 hours. I don't need a lot of sleep, so
No, I know you don't.
But anyway, listen, everybody, Aston, MK, Tiff, PG, love you, darling. Magic Mike, always think the world of you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
for
you.
making
Thank
this
you.
such a.
Bye.
Appreciate you being with us.
What was it? It's been a special couple of hours, and it was nice to spend it with you. But I've got to record now because I'm recording my questions for Kev.
Oh, go on.
Which is going to be a bit spicy for tomorrow. So,
Who you talking to? Can we say or no?
No, I record my questions. I then edit, send them to Sophie, and Sophie puts them on
for tomorrow. Gotcha. Okay.
For tomorrow,
tomorrow night. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Friday night.
It's my fault. So trust me, it's going to get a bit spicy.
All right. Well, I'll be tuned in. Everyone else tune into the Highbury Squad tomorrow for that.
Always,
Yeah. Kev says, look after yourself, everybody.
Bye, Kev.
Take care. Cheers,
Bye.
And I'm going to run away with him because I am still at work.
I'll tell you what, we're gonna. It looks like it. We're gonna just wrap up overall.
Don't tell my boss.
I mean, just the vibes today. This is why I like to do the podcast. I mean, again, it's not for money. It's not for fame. It's a little bit for ego. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't that. But really, it's to give me the ability to be connected to the team, to other people, to have positivity going on. And whether, when there's not positivity going on about the performance, I really do sink into liking to do this kind of pod even more, because it just reminds me of why I love the club and what the club has given to me, which is the four of you and everyone else that's been on. And everyone that's in the chat.
Isn't it? None of us would have met each other if it wasn't for Arsenal, if it wasn't for social media, and if it wasn't for podcasts. And
I would have met you on a Friday night at Shul one time if I'd come over.
Yeah, like I go to Shul on a Friday night.
I know. That's like, I keep teasing you about that. But
is anyone looking forward to getting over to London now that we're through this
when
pandemic?
You come over, you have to tell me. We're all going to go out.
I'm
hoping.
I have to not be leading 85 people next time.
You do.
No.
You just need to relax.
Go on a smaller trip.
I don't know what that means.
What about a Gooner Gals trip?
No road trip.
Well, no, I mean, I could do that, but I do the Arsenal America road trip every year. And so last time I somehow just missed PG, like literally on the steps to the Emirates, right? But like I was going one way.
Yeah. And I missed Jessica. We kept being in different places. Every time I messaged her, she was there.
You've got all your commitments.
There's
got all her media commitments before the game. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. There's a Gooner Gals plaque at the Tollington.
Is there? I'm going Sunday. I'm going to have a look. Where is it?
So, I think you were there when we presented it to them and they put it up, because it's kind of, it's like a good, safe space, like for if you're just traveling with women, whatever, you just want to get together. And Sean's been so good to us.
It's lovely, Sean.
And so we had a plaque made that they put on the post behind the bar. And so it's our London home base.
Fantastic. Well, I've been to Tollington for a year.
I know they'll be really happy to see everybody.
I know. They need.
I'm waiting for the next season schedule to come out so I can try to figure out when all the games kind of clump together. Well, obviously, whether or not we have European away days, as silly as they will be.
I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, you should see what we have to go through just to go Sunday. Honestly, I've just received
I've been on the calls with the club.
Oh yeah, Tiffany, tell us.
I've been on the calls with the club, and they talk about, like what's going to be available and when they expect to be back at 60,000 capacity, and how people are able to even go to away, and which isn't really happening, and all of these things. And so the frustration for supporters clubs all over as well is, for people who've been making the trip in over and over and over, or the different supporters clubs around England who all just come in, right? And they still don't have a lot of answers because it's going to be so touch and go, right? Like originally they said by the start of the new season, they expected to be at 60,000.
I hope so.
That would be amazing.
Well, it's interesting because we get our renewals next week, I think. And also what I'm saying, Mike, is the fixtures will be out in about a month.
Yeah, so it's usually the third week of June.
If they do it, yeah. If I don't know, nothing's normal. I don't even know what normal is anymore, but it's going to be strange on Sunday. 10,000 of us and no away fans. That's going to be. It's just going to. They're going to be able to hear me.
Right before we close out,
they can hear you when it's 60,000.
Did you see? That's true. Did you see the video? I saw it right before we started the first hour of the pod of when Arsenal scored, when Martinelli scored against Crystal Palace. It was taken from the end that he scored at. and there's this little pack of like 6 people that just get up and start going nuts. Like clearly they were Arsenal supporters that weren't supposed to be there.
Oh,
They go absolutely nuts, and then they're all just like, sit down.
No, quick.
Like it's hilarious. I couldn't keep it in. It's hilarious. I'll try to find it and retweet it out because.
Well, listen, I'm going to shoot now as well.
Yeah.
I'm knackered. It's like 2 hours, but it's been brilliant. I love you all. And Aston, you have to come back on our show. I think you're amazing. I love you. I've got a little soft spot for you now.
I would love to be back on the show. I'll anytime you want to go ahead and invite me. I'm just excited that I have people now that know how to get me tickets for Arsenal. That
was the greatest part about it.
You're going to stay friends with me, aren't you?
Arsenal
PG
America
has a lot of
can do that
soft
too.
spots.
Yeah, Tim can do that for you too. But it's been lovely, and I love you all constantly. Honestly, I really do.
Thank you, Amanda.
I just hate our American owner, but I do not hate Americans. That's for sure. I just hate him.
We hate him too.
We do.
We're all in the same
Well,
club.
you know what? It's the billionaire devil, right?
Yeah.
True.
Right.
No.
Tiffany, MK, Aston, PG, everybody else that's joined us, and an amazing chat for tonight. I haven't been great at putting your comments up, but I certainly appreciate them all, and just been a great couple of hours. Really enjoyed it. Stay tuned. Watch the Highbury Squad every day. Watch us whenever we get off our ass and feel like podcasting. But there will be more collaborations because we really are kind of kindred spirits. And
Mike, we have to do it together.
All right. So remember, I'll forego my normal one and say,
oh, here we go.
And say, don't forget, everybody.
Don't forget, everybody. Always
Arsenal.
Oh my God.